Fade in, Los Angeles County, California. Garrett Warren was gunned down, shot 4 times in his own home, but somehow survived. It fit his character, really. A Hollywood stuntman, martial artist, and former fighter. Not only did he survive, but he was able to identify a shooter, a man who'd been caught with what looked like a hit note in his car. And they tell you his name is Miguel Quiroz.
Yes.
That name mean anything to you?
Not at the time at all.
It sounded at first like a strong case, but the more law enforcement and prosecutor Hoon Chun investigated, the weaker it seemed to become. So you've done a lot of work, and mostly what you've done is help prove your defendant's alibi.
Sure, so far, right? And eventually really prove the alibi that he didn't do this.
Remember, multiple witnesses put Miguel Quiroz about 80 miles away from Garrett's home on the night of the shooting. And then, like a scene from Columbo, came this latest twist, something the prosecutors saw during a court hearing.
I'm noticing some things. First of all, Miguel Quiroz is left-handed. The shooter was described by the witnesses, the victim and his mother, as right-handed. And that's a little odd.
Odd because what left-handed person would try to commit murder with the gun in his right hand? That's like out of a movie.
Yeah, it's out of a movie, right. A scriptwriter might do something like that, but in real life, this doesn't happen. It didn't make any sense.
And then Prosecutor Chun saw this photo taken at a party, a barbecue.
In this photo, you have Garrett Warren, and he is facing Miguel Quiroz, and they're kneeling down. Their children are in front of them. We can tell from the scar on Garrett Warren's face underneath the left ear that this is post-shooting. We can tell from the ages of those children, as well as the Lakers championship t-shirt that Mr. Quiroz is wearing, that this is very shortly after the shooting.
The two men were both guests at the same party after the shooting, but before Garrett made his eyewitness ID of Quiroz. So you think this is where Garrett knew Miguel Quiroz from?
Right.
You think that's why he identified him as the shooter, because he remembered him from this party?
Right. Classic transference.
To both the prosecutor and to Garrett, the photo explained the ID.
And for some reason, when I saw him in the photo lineup, it clicked, and I said, that must be him. I recognize him. And obviously it wasn't him.
So Garrett was wrong in picking Quiroz as the man who shot him. And that left prosecutors with 2 questions. Who did shoot Garrett? And, since he had Garrett's photo and address in his trunk, could Quiroz still somehow be involved? Prosecutor Hoon Chun began to rethink the case.
The defense attorneys agreed that we could talk to Mr. Quiroz, and they let us talk to him. And the detectives and I keep coming back to this hit note, to where it's found. He doesn't know Garrett Warren, because remember, their interaction was very brief at that barbecue.
Detectives kept after Quiroz. They knew that whoever ordered the hit really wanted Garrett Warren dead. Because here's one more twist. The postmark on the note is from after the shooting, meaning that it's not so much a hit note as a note explaining to someone how to go back and finish the job.
It's a rehit, if you want to call it that.
That finish the job note, says Chun, started to unravel the mystery.
That was really kind of what broke the case open. That was, quite frankly, the lifeline we had on this case.
The one unavoidable piece of evidence that finally cracked Miguel Quiroz.
We go back round and round about this, and finally, he admits that he was one of the middlemen.
Miguel Quiroz admitted that while he wasn't the shooter, he was in on the plot, and that he was caught by his own carelessness.
He explained that that hit note had been sent directly to him, that he had put it under the spare tire in the trunk of his car, and literally, he said he had forgotten about it.
So, the reason you ended up finding that hit note under the spare tire in the trunk of Mr. Quiroz's car was that he'd put it there for safekeeping and then forgotten it?
This is one of those stranger than fiction kind of things. Certainly nobody would write a script like this because they would have the kind of look that any self-respecting director or producer would have, the look that you're having in any kind of Hollywood movie, and saying, come on, that's ridiculous. But people forget things.
Disorganized crime.
Yeah.
Luckily for prosecutors, Miguel Quiroz had not sworn a blood oath to never rat on his friends. Quite the opposite. He rolled over like Lassie and cut a deal. He agreed to wear a wire and help collect evidence on his co-conspirators. And so, as they say around here, the plot thickened.
Coming up, the world's worst hitman.
I apologize, I'm not a good shot.